This is Shane, Hurricane Helms, inviting you to watch Rasslin Rage. That's Rasslin, Rasslin, Rage. And if not, what's up with that?
Oh!
It's going down!
This is Rasslin Rage!
It's going down!
This is Rasslin Rage!
Scream it out loud!
This is Rasslin Rage! Cody Fleming is the man who leads the brigade!
It's going down!
This is Rasslin Rage!
Do it now!
This is Rasslin Rage!
Scream it out loud!
This is Rasslin Rage! Cody Fleming is the man who leads the brigade!
And now it's time for Wrestling Rage with your host, Cody Fleming.
Hey everybody, it is Cody here from Rasslin Rage and Michigan Independent Weekly. I want to say thank you to everybody that is joining us currently in the chat and anybody that shows up later, anybody that watches later, and anybody that listens to this on Podbean. Hello and welcome and thank you to all of you. Don't forget to subscribe right here. Click the button. If you're new to the channel, of course, please click the bell as well so you're notified when we go live or when any new content is available, as well as anything else like matches or whatever. Also, I want to tell you down in the description, down there, you will find links to all of our social media as well as our Podbean. So, today, I am joined by the new Pro Wrestling All-Stars of Detroit heavyweight champion, L.J. Lawrence, the sensei of the Cobra Kai Dojo. Hello to you, sir, and welcome for your first time ever on Rasslin Rage.
Thank you for having me. And yes, I don't do very many interviews, so this is going to be interesting.
All right. Well, that's good. That means it's kind of an exclusive. I like it. Now, before we talk about too much, because we're going to talk about this title, but I want to talk a little bit about your early career. First of all, I want to know a little bit about the beginnings of LJ, right? Because I've only been around the indie scene for probably the last 5 years now. So I don't know. I've seen pictures. I've seen some of the things that Sean posts and stuff like that. So how did you get started in professional wrestling?
Hell, the very, very beginning would be like everybody else watching it on TV. Then my mother would take me to the wrestling shows at the Kobo or Joe Louis or whatnot. And then my father was a reserve police officer, so they would do security down there a lot, and I would get in the back. And I think I met Coco Beware and Hulk Hogan back then.
Nice.
But that's the same wash, rinse, and repeat story. Everybody who's done any type of wrestling will tell you. But actually, what got me going, like actually wrestling, was meeting up with Antoine or Soul Taker.
Okay.
Got hooked up with him, and of course, we were doing the taboo backyard thing for a little bit, but then, we went off and actually got trained. I was trained by Doug Chevalier, the Canadian Destroyer, and Hard Time Gene Miller back in like 97, 98.
Oh, wow.
Then took off to go to school, finished school out of state, came back and finished up my training, more so to just kind of knock the dust off and stuff like that. And then I started working matches here and there under like NWA Michigan as the Kamikaze Kid. And my very first match actually was me and Doug were going against the Outlaws, Woody and Bobby Lee. But Doug didn't have a partner, and I was doing security. So he drafted me. He was like, "Hey, you idiot, get up there and stand on the apron." And Doug basically did the whole match. I got the hot tag, springboard, drop kick, bumping feet. And then the Outlaws proceeded to just beat the hell out of me for like the next 15 minutes. And I tried to walk around the next day, and dude, I was so sore.
Nice.
But that's pretty much the 0 to 60 from the beginning to my very first match.
Right. So that answers my next question. Do you remember your first match? So it's like, That's like a big like stepping stone or memory for you is your first match, you know.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Not a lot of people have a story like that. Like, hey, I was working security, and my trainer was working a match that night, and he needed a partner. I mean, that's awesome. I like that. Now you are the sensei of the Cobra Kai Dojo. And
yes,
it's
the
not
Michigan branch of Cobra Kai.
right, and it's not a shtick. You're actually a martial artist. It's not a, you actually do martial arts.
Funny thing, Jason from Capital Vices.
Yes.
He said something to me that really, really hit home, and it was recent. It was after my my new deal started to really, pick up and get a little bit of headway. He was giving me some feedback and critiques and some praises, pros and cons, that sort of deal.
Right.
And he said, the best thing about you is you're not a wrestler playing a karate guy, and you're not a karate guy playing wrestler. So basically, I'm the genuine article in both avenues, and that's rare because we all know guys who are really, really good wrestlers that try to play martial arts gimmicks, and they're terrible at martial arts. Not a knock on any of those guys, but you've seen it. Like,
yeah.
And then you've got guys who are really, really good martial artists, but they can't embrace the craft of professional wrestling. It's a different animal.
Right.
But to be good at both, there's probably offhand, I could probably name maybe 3 or 4 guys in Michigan that I know of that actually are really good at it. And what helped me with it was teaching when I was coming up, working with kids and working with older people. It teaches you control, how to push people, how to make them really work, how to help them benefit from being taught by you and not hurting them. That is very important, especially when it comes to wrestling, because we all know how the game is played. And so when he said that to me, it made a lot of sense, and I was actually really glad to hear it.
Yeah,
I was
absolutely.
like, that actually meant a lot coming from someone like him too.
Yeah. How long have you been training in martial arts?
Formally or literally? Because there's 2 different answers.
Well,
Formally,
wow.
Okay, I'll start from the beginning really quick. Back in the Ninja Turtle days, the Kung Fu Theater days, probably started messing around with making my own nunchucks and pretending I knew Kung Fu at like maybe the age of 12 or 13. And just kind of ran with that, tried a bunch of different styles like Wing Chun, Ishinryu, Taekwondo, stuff like that, until I was maybe 20, 21. Then I got into a Shotokan karate school and got formal training.
Okay.
And that was over 20 years ago. Yeah, it's been a while. But yeah, I got my black belt like 8 years ago, and that's but I've been a lifelong martial artist, but I've been a formally trained martial artist for 22 years.
Nice. That's and you're still actively training in martial arts?
Yes. When I left my home dojo because I moved and it was just too hard to get to it too far away, I actually came across a place out here in Westland called Stars and Strikes MMA. It's a kickboxing gym where I basically went in there and was the karate guy. Got my butt kicked for like 2 years working with professional fighters, kickboxers, and MMA guys and stuff like that. And after about 16, 17 months, I started landing punches and kicks on these guys. So that actually took my karate and my martial arts to the next level because I went in there and pressure tested it and saw what really worked, what didn't work, and what I had to make work. So that's kind of where I've been for the last couple of years, and it's been quite the benefit.
Nice. So you said Shotokan, right?
Yes.
Oh, that's nice. Now, I've seen some pictures and I've seen some talk about competition. Were you in competitions in your martial arts?
Yeah, buddy. I got addicted to that stuff. Probably.
It is addicting.
Dude, hell, I think I competed in tournaments here in Ohio for probably 6 years.
Holy moly.
And I will say in those 6 years, I probably placed first 80% of the time in weapons, in kata, and it took a really long time to get used to the way point fighting worked. So that was probably my weakest event for a while. But then when I figured it out, I started putting that together too. And funny you bring up the competition because I had a wall filled with trophies in the basement, and I actually did a purge, pun intended, and and tossed out so many trophies. I tossed out so many first place trophies, and I just kind of kept all the ones that were the most impressive, like the 6-footers, the big stuff like that. So it did well for a long time, but then it just kind of fell out of it. And probably when I'm done doing the wrestling thing, I'll probably get back into doing like the old man division or something like that, just to stay busy.
There you go. I like it. So we've talked a little bit about your beginning of your career. We talked about the martial arts, and you talked a little bit about what Jason said from Capital Vices about you being both, right? You're not either or, you're both. And so when did you decide to incorporate the martial arts style into your wrestling?
At the beginning, when I was going through my phases of the different versions of kamikaze, trying to find myself, like I was the generic karate dude at first, where it was more karate and the high flying 90s style wrestling, and the balance was off. And I even like incorporated some stuff from video games like Street Fighter. Like one of my moves was the Dragon Punch, right? Put the guy on the top rope and do like the Shoryuken. And I tried a lot of different stuff. So I always did it since the beginning. But I want to say about 5 years ago when I started doing the bad boy gimmick, that was when I really found the balance. Because I've always been okay at it, but it was really hard to kind of not overdo one or not overdo the other. Like I didn't want to go out there dressed as a karate dude and not do karate and just strictly do, like regular traditional wrestling, or vice versa, go out there and do all karate and no wrestling, because then that, it just didn't work. It clicked a few years ago, and I've been fine tuning it and refining it ever since.
Right. Absolutely.
Oops, what happened here?
It's all right. You're there. All right. So my wonderful sponsor of the show, Happy Harper Ice Cream, Mr. Josh Harper, is in the chat, and he would like me to ask you a question. And he says, okay. Oh boy, you ready? Here it comes. I know shortly before COVID, there was talk of retirement. What made you want to retire, and what made you stay?
Well, actually, it was my age, because I wanted to say my thing was, okay, I knew a long time ago I was never going to get into like the WWF, or I'm sorry, forgive me, old man, I still call it the WWF,
right?
Or like any of that stuff. So, and the indies was still fun. It's always been fun. I was like, you know what? At 40, I'm gonna just go ahead, hang it up, be done with it, because it's been doing it since like '98. So 40 is a good cutoff point, and I was okay with that. And then the reason I came back, or actually, no, I quit probably 4 times. I'm not going to go into any of that, but I stopped in like 2009 when I started working, driving the truck and stuff like that. Then I came back in 2015 when IWR did their reunion at the Sunnybrook before they tore it down. Okay. And I worked old timer Jeff King. And it was an easy match. It was a fun match, and I had an absolute blast. And I was like, man, you know what? I might want to do a couple more. A couple more turned into a few more turned into a bunch more, and a bunch more turned into me doing it for another 4 years. and then I got the run back in XICW and started working with some newer guys. I was like, okay, cool. Up and comer, Shogun. I want my last match to be with Shogun. I knew that like a year before I had it. We started building to that, set that up, did that. And then I think it was that was in December of 2019. And I think maybe 6 or 7 months, Soul Taker asked me if I wanted to do a match at a birthday party. And I was like, yeah, okay. He really pushed me to do it. So I did it, had fun. Next thing you know, I'm back.
Right.
Whole time.
Right. Here you are. I haven't seen you stop since.
No.
Yeah.
And I'm glad I did.
Right. Well, yeah, it's been a pretty good run too, because, let's talk about what happened next here. What was it, over the weekend, or was it last weekend? You run the Pro Wrestling All-Stars of Detroit Heavyweight Championship. But even before, what's the bigger story to me is like, okay, I get it. You defeated the Dread King Logan, which is no small feat in itself, because he is a freaking beast, right? Ungodly. And now, how many of these scrambles were you in? Because there was 3 scrambles that night, right? How many of them were you in, and then go on to face the Dread King?
There were 3 of them in one match, and I played it smart. The big prize was the last pinfall. Don't rush into trying to win. That's the secret.
Right.
Stay back, stay fresh, let those guys wear themselves out. And then what's the old adage? 2 lions on a hill, let's run down there and kill a gazelle. And no, son, let's walk down there and get them all. Same difference. I walked through the match and got the shot at the biggest prize at the end, played it smart. I wasn't tired, I wasn't worn out. That's why that came to be, because I wasn't young and eager. I was wily, crafty, like a veteran.
There you go. So now you go on that night and you face the Dread King Logan, who, man, dude's on fire right now here in the state of Michigan, and not only in Michigan, but throughout the Midwest. And he's getting his name out there. You're going to see him a lot on IWTV as well. But here you go. You get the win. And here you are the Pro Wrestling All-Stars Heavyweight Champion. So you win the championship. I've seen pictures. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to make it that night, but I've seen pictures. Thanks to our Hard Cam Frio. That guy, shout out to Hard Cam
MVP.
Frio. That's right. And all of his videos and his pictures online. But I see this sweet picture of you on the side of the ring, kind of. I wouldn't say you were glowing. You were just kind of like, hey, I got the belt. And you're like, hey, look at me. You know what I'm saying? What's going through your head, dude? What are you thinking? Are you going, man, all this work paid off? Or what are you thinking?
I don't have to tell you what I was thinking. I'm going to tell you what I said, because I said what I was thinking. I leaned out. I know the shot you're talking about. I leaned out of the ring and I was pointing at the belt and I said, it's about damn time.
There you go.
I don't think any cameras picked that up, but I said, it's about damn time.
There you go.
And it wasn't, it's not like I felt like I was being overlooked or anything like that, because the right guys get the belt. They get that stuff at the right time. And I feel like right now, I always felt like I was good at this. I would never consider myself an elite, because there are people out there that are better than I am, and there are people out there that aren't as good as I am. I want to say I'm good at all of it, and everything is falling into place right now, because my in-ring work it's fine. It's fine. It can be. I have my nights where I'm absolutely on fire. Like the last 3 matches I was in, I'm very happy with all of them. I want to say I got one more coming up in Standish. If I can get 4 good ones in a row, perfect. But the night I won the belt, the tag match the day after, and the match I had yesterday with Brutus, like everything was just clicked. And what it is with me, it's the in-ring work, and it's everything kind of leading up to it. Because I've been doing the same stuff in the ring for the last few years. What's changed is the entrance, the dynamic, and the energy that comes to the ring with me now. That's made a difference. It's made a difference. And I think that has a lot to do with what's happening right now, too.
I like it. So there's another question here. Comes from Josh again. Before I say the question, Dan says thank you for coming back. And so does Josh as well. But Josh wants to know, who do you want to defend your Pro Wrestling All-Stars belt against?
Ooh, that's a good one. I'm not gonna give it the old cliche. Whoever they put in front of me, I'm gonna fight them. No. There's people out there I want to mix it up with. I would like to do it again with Dread King because he was a champion for a very long time, and I think when you're that dominant for that long, you deserve a run back. Just to be fair, Brutus, big, strong, mountain mammoth of a man. We just did that one. I would like to defend it against FIA because of how experienced he is, and I think our styles would clash really well. Atlas Hightower. I don't think I've ever had a match with Atlas Hightower, not for real anyway. And those are just the PWA guys, but I'm not going to cross any wires or cross any streams. But let's just say there's a few people out there I really want to mix it up with. Alex Weir, so.
I like it.
You know.
So that's awesome. Okay, so funny story since you brought up Alex Weir.
I did.
Yeah. It would be an awesome match, first of all. But, Alex is one of my instructors. And his mother and father are also one of my instructors. And his sister is one of my instructors. The whole family are black belts. It's a cool kind of thing. But I remember we were at an XICW show, and we were there for Alex, you know what I mean? We were all there, and the Weirs, all of us were there. And you and the Weirs were going back and forth in the ring. You were just talking smack to each other. You were doing the bad boy thing. And it was hilarious because they're legit black belts too. And it was so funny. And now you guys, we all get, everybody's cool. It was just the thing. And it was just, I thought it was a cool story, because like I had never really seen you at that time. And it was one of the first times or second times I had seen you because it was when I first started coming to XICW. So It was cool, man. Danny Beals here wants to know who's your toughest opponent to date.
Let's see. I'm just gonna go back to the most recent run, the last 4 years. I would probably have to say it's a coin flip between Dread King and Shogun, because I did beat Dread King, but he made me earn it. But Shogun knocked me out of there for a few months. Like, I was done after that, So it's a toss-up between those two guys.
That's great. I love it. So Shogun, by the way, speaking of Shogun's going to be at Bay City tomorrow. Not tomorrow, Saturday. That's going to happen at 2:00 before the XICW show. So if you guys want to check that out before you go over to XICW, that'd be cool. It's free, by the way. So good stuff there.
Oh, man. Yeah.
Right. Now, speaking of XICW, and you spoke about it a little bit about a match you have coming up, you are facing Kongo Kong, the monster Kongo Kong, for the United States Championship at XICW Mother's Day Mayhem in Standish, Michigan on Saturday. I believe it starts at 8 or somewhere in there, and we'll have to look at the flyer. I have you? Maybe earlier.
7.
7. All right, we'll
7
go with
o'clock.
7. We'll go with 7. All right. So, holy shit. Kongo Kong. Big motherfucker. What do you what's going through your head going into this match? Like, holy shit. What do you got to do?
That's a big boy. But I've been a black belt for a long time, so big doesn't scare me. And neither does crazy. So how did my man say it in Game of Thrones? Size means nothing when you're flat on your back.
Nice.
I believe it was over in Martel, but right before he went out there and beat the Giant. Or the Mountain, I'm sorry.
Right.
But we're going to cut it off before, that one part.
Right. XICW.
I'm looking forward to it.
Right. XICW is kind of like a home base nowadays for you. And this is a monumental match if you really think about it. I mean, You're going against Kongo Kong for the United States Championship in an XICW ring in front of a not so normal XICW crowd. I mean, let's be honest, Standish isn't really used to all that XICW has to offer. XICW, and again, we'll be honest, is the premier wrestling organization in the state of Michigan.
Yeah, they are. Glad I'm a part of it. I tell all my friends about it each time. We went up there last time, and it's not the typical XI crowd, but they liked me.
Yeah, for sure.
I did
for sure.
I did really well up there because, I'll be the first to admit it. Like I said, I've been doing this particular gimmick and this particular character for about 5 years. It took off 3 years ago. I got the buff when the show came out, and then all of a sudden everybody kind of jumped on board, and I am not complaining. So I think it has a lot to do with, the saying, the best characters in wrestling are you turned up to 10.
Yeah.
I've been this guy for a long time. I've learned to embrace it, and I've learned how to work with it. So I did well up there in Standish this time, and I honestly believe that the crowd is going to be on my side against him. And let's just say I hope I walk out of there with 3 belts.
Nice.
PWA belt, black belt, and that US title for XICW, because I haven't been a champion there in a long time. I think I'm about ready for it.
All right. Well, and Dan says LJ will be the new belt collector.
I want to be the Ultimo Dragon of Michigan independent professional wrestling.
There you go. I like it. Now, that's great. I like it, man. Going up there, getting another belt, XICW, Kongo Kong. I mean, it's a lot of stuff going on in wrestling. We went through a lockdown in here in the state where wrestling didn't occur for 3-4 months, 3.5 months, somewhere like that. We were able to go outdoors for a little bit. We were able to go do like one indoor show, and then we were locked down again. And now we're kind of indoors. We're kind of, it's kind of happening, but there's consistent indie wrestling events happening in the state now. Every weekend there's been 3 to 4, and up to 5 or 6 on some weekends now going on just in the state of Michigan. What is, in your opinion, and it is what it is, your opinion, what do you think is really the push behind the indies right now? Because the indies are on fire, and even in Michigan's on fire right now.
Okay, for me, the honest answer is, this is just coming from me. Plenty of people may feel the same way, but I think it has a lot to do with the mainstream product that's on TV right now. It's just not as interesting as it used to be. There's some good stuff here and there, but it's so much easier to go to an independent show. And plus, the independent shows, I tell everybody that I know who say, "Oh man, I got to come and see you, this, that, and the other." I was like, do it. I said, because when you come there, the energy is so different, because you could go to a WWF show, you could sit in the front row and you could look Triple H right in his face and tell him, "You suck." And he'll give you a glare or something like that. But if you come to an independent show, you could be 6 rows back and tell one guy in the ring, "You suck." He'll look you dead in your eyes and tell you to go F yourself. And it's a different energy. It's more intimate, more interactive, and it makes you want to come back because you feel like you're more a part of the show without being a distraction. Right. You know what I mean? I think that's why indies are on fire right now, because what's going on TV is just not as interesting as what you could go and see right up the block for 10, 15, 20 bucks.
Right.
As opposed to spending $60 on a pay-per-view to watch TV and nobody's in the building. You know what I mean? I think that's what it is.
I like it. That's a good one. I like that. Awesome. You know what I love about the indies, and specifically more so XICW than anything, is the interactiveness. I mean, XICW is really good at making the fans part of the show, whether the show ends up in the crowd or which is a regular thing at XICW, which is, Yeah, another funny story. We're at Standish the first time. I'm in the front row, and I got my camera set up, and there's an older couple sitting next to me. And I think it's DBA and somebody going at it, and they're in the crowd. And this lady looks at me, and she goes, "Is it always like this?" I says, "Oh, this is tame." And she goes, "Really?" But
So, yeah, this is the first time we had to tone it down a little bit.
yeah, but you know what? The story, and not so much the story, but the tell is that when they announced that they were going to sell tickets to the next show at this show, the previous show, and then you go out there and you've seen the lineup for the amount of people buying tickets, and not just 1 or 2 tickets. I was in front of a guy that bought like 7 tickets to go to XICW in Standish. These people loved what they seen, and it was probably their first time ever seeing XICW, if they're not somebody that's, going to XICW on a regular basis. That says a lot about XICW in my book.
Yeah.
In my book. I don't give a shit about anybody else's book, though. So,
yeah, I've been around long enough to say that I've been to some shows that have either gone to a place for the first time or this was their first show, and they came off as rinky dink. This was a long time ago, and these promotions didn't make it. And I can say that I've been a part of a couple of shows that flash in the pan, didn't make it, went to a place, fell on their face because it just didn't work. But yeah, it was something different about Standish, because I won't even say I was even worried about it not working out. Just something about the energy of that promotion led me to believe. I was like, oh, and then when they kept saying, oh, 2 tickets left, we've only got so many, the floor is sold out, only bleacher seats left. I was like, oh man, this place is going to be full. And you've been in a building where it's at capacity, whether it's a big place or a small place, especially like when Hot Rocks is full and they're loud, the energy in the back and the energy that the guys give you out in the ring, they're going to turn it up to 12. And that's how it was. But the only difference is in Standish, it was a much bigger place. The setup was nice. The locker room was nice. And it was just, it was the bee's knees from top to bottom.
Nice. Right. Absolutely. Dan talked a little bit about this in the chat here. He says he wants a picture with you in your car, which you are in right now. But there was a promo for some of you guys out there that may not know this. There was a promo photo, and it wasn't really a promo photo. I think it was just more of a photo of LJ with the Pro Wrestling All-Stars belt on, and then he's got his black belt holding on to it, and he's leaning against his, yellow Mustang that he's currently sitting in with his Cobra Kai. There it is, right? Okay. So hear me out. After the show, you're outside taking pictures with your car, bro. $5. Making money. $5. Get a car, get your picture with LJ Lawrence in the Cobra Kai Mustang.
See, I get so many people coming up to the show after the show's asking the dumbest question on the planet. Is that your yellow car out there? I don't even answer it. I don't even answer it.
Well, I mean, it's like, it's the best. I tell you, man, there you go. I love it, man. This is, are you looking to keep going, or what? You got a plan, or is there like I don't like to ask, is there an exit strategy? But I mean, what's the plan, dude?
Right now, I'm going to ride the wave, and I do have a plan. But it's more of a selfless plan. I'm going to do this as far as wrestling goes. I'm going to do it while it's still fun and while I can still do it well. I don't want to go out there and do it after I become stale, the character becomes stale, or I simply can't perform. Once one of those boxes gets checked, I'll back off. But mainly what I'm doing right now is the group that I come out with, the young guys, 2 of them just recently graduated from the House of Truth. They're like 3 or 4 matches in. One of them I used to teach karate legitimately when they were a kid. And basically what I'm doing is I'm kind of doing for them what wasn't done for me when I was coming up, because we had to do it the hard way. You know, we had to learn and get critiqued and feedback and stuff the hard way. Now it's a different game. It's a different avenue. So basically I'm doing this to kind of help them learn how to do things, help them get matches, help them get exposure, and them doing, helping my gimmick to get over, helping me get over. In turn, I'm helping them to get over, helping them to get experience and stuff like that. Like, not to, I'm going to say it's a brag. It's like right now I'm doing okay financially. So when we go up to Standish, I'm covering the hotel rooms and everything, because I want those guys to see what it's like for the second time to be a part of a kick-ass show and not have to worry about, oh my God, am I going to get paid? Oh my God, what are we going to eat? Oh my God, can we make it? I was like, dude, I got it. Just come up, see what it's about. That way it'll motivate you, so that when I'm done and I let you fly, you go off and do your own thing, learn how to work the business, you can see what it's like to be a part of something that's actually worth it. Go to the rinky-dink shit shows. I'm sorry. Go to the rinky-dink shows and then see what those are like, because you have to experience that. And then come with me to some of these shows that are a little bit more rock solid. And that's the plan. The exit strategy is, once I can't do it anymore, once it's not fun, once things start to slow down and get stale, then, I'll back off and just become a fan again. And then I might do those one-off shows every now and again, anniversary show, and then fuck around and fall in love with it again and do it for another 2.5 years. At like 46,
It's good. Well, and Dan says you can't quit till 50.
50? Oh, okay.
It's like, no, not till 50. But man, it has been an absolute pleasure having you on the show. Maybe we'll have to have you on.
Oh, wait, side note.
Uh-oh.
Before I forget, I remember when I first came back to XICW, and my first match before the Proving Ground was against Jack Price and Aaron Orion.
Uh-oh.
And I noticed you guys sitting over in the corner at every show, and it was Josh. He was such a stone-faced, stoic. He came off like a prick. Because I could see you getting behind me a little bit, but you were kind of like indecisive. Danny, I think once Danny saw the gimmick and everything, he's like, okay, I can get behind it. But Josh, and I remember after about 4 or 5 shows, I came over to Josh, and he had he used to do the signboard thing, and I was like, you know what? I was like, before I'm done doing this, I'm gonna win you over. And he said something along the lines of good luck, or yeah, right, or he just kind of shrugged me off, and that was a personal challenge. And I want to say maybe 5 or 6 shows later, on his little dry erase board, he wrote something that was pro LJ Lawrence, and I was like, yep, got him. And then right after that, you guys are behind me all the way. And I told his ass I was going to win him over, and I did it in 5 shows. So don't ever tell me I can't do some shit,
I love it. That is a great story. I love it. That is awesome. And he is still, Josh says he is a prick, but, or Dan says he is a prick. That's what Dan said. But they go at it all the time, him and Dan. But it's okay. That's I love that was a story. I remember that now that you said that. I remember that. And I remember the conversations we had on the ride home. And, he literally dislikes Atlas Hightower because he spoiled the end of Avengers for him. Like, he will not.
Off the internet.
He won't. He does not cheer for him. He boos him. It's like, we say he's his first most favorite wrestler in the world, and he despises him. Jason Page is his second most favorite. So it is what it is. But, dude, man, thank you. I could probably sit here and talk to you all day, although I know you would probably not want to sit in your car all night and just talk to this guy.
Those kids are pretty loud, man.
Yeah. How many kids you got?
I have 2. I have a 5-year-old, and I have a 6-year-old son and a 2-year-old daughter.
Oh.
And LJ is his name. And it's really weird going into the locker rooms now, and the newer guys are calling me LJ. And I keep saying, that's my kid's name. but at the same time, it's my name.
Right.
He's just Junior.
Right. Man.
But yeah.
Then that's some young, man. I got it, dude. I got a 19-year-old, right? And then I have, yeah. Oh, wait, hold on. I'm not done. And then I have a 6-year-old.
Ooh, that's a gap.
That is. It wasn't planned. Trust me on that one, homie. But now Dan, on the other hand, Dan's got his own mafia going on, bro. He's got like 7 or 8 kids, bro. I swear to God, every day is a new adventure in Dan's world. You know, it's telling you, he's old
not
too.
envy you.
Right? Yeah, absolutely, dude. Everybody, you can catch LJ this weekend. Let's see what we got going on. You're going to be at XI, of course. I know that. Is that the only one you're at this weekend?
This weekend, yeah, it's a busy month overall. A show actually got canceled. We were going to Cleveland next week, but Standish this week, and then at the end of the month, the 28th, I'm at PWA. 29th, I'm at TKW in Taylor, and then 2 more PWA shows were added this month. I think the week after next, and then the week after that, or something. So it's busy.
Are you at XI on the 23rd too?
Yes, the 23rd. I am there as well.
Yeah.
Yep, that's why I put all this shit on the calendar, because I do not remember anything.
Dude, trust me. I know. Trying to remember all the organization acronyms and the dates and not confusing them, because some of them are like oh boy. Yeah, I get it. That's why I have Dan and Josh. They help me remember shit. But thank you so much for joining me, man. I do appreciate it. Make sure you guys check him out, ask him for an autograph. Make sure you mention my name, because I want a piece of the $5 for the photograph. And then with the car, he's got merch available, Cobra Kai, all that wonderful stuff. And, he's giving back to the younger guys here. So help him help them guys and all that good stuff. And, you can catch him at Pro Wrestling All-Stars, Metro Pro, XICW. And dude, thanks again, man. We talked about this a while ago, and it never really flourished. So
I don't think it would have been as interesting if we'd have did it 2 years ago.
Well, I mean, and that's when you were on your way out.
Been a lot better.
Right? Yeah. Well, it was on your way out, and Soul Taker's like, "You need to interview this dude," and I'm like, "Okay," and you're like, "Well, I don't know," and then now all this, and so here we are. Hello, sir. How are you? Good times. Hey, everybody, don't forget to smash the thumbs up, subscribe, and all that wonderful stuff. We will be back here on Sunday for Rasslin Rage, where we're going to go over the results that we have for the weekend in Michigan Indie Wrestling. That's right here on Rasslin Rage, on the Rasslin Rage YouTube channel, where you can go to r2youtube.com. The letter R, the number 2, youtube.com. We'll catch you guys on Sunday. Thanks again, LJ.
Thank you. It was a pleasure. This was a lot of fun. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Rasslin Rage. Do it now. This is Rasslin Rage. Scream it out loud. This is Rasslin Rage. Cody Fleming is the man who leads the brigade.